Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Both Ends of the Table. I am your host, Stevie J. To my left here, or maybe to my right on your screen, is the Loop. Loop, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great. Another day of football, another great game. For some, for some, but I'm
Yep.
excited to
Yeah.
get into it.
Yeah, it was a definite letdown as the Dolphins fall to the Bills. Now starting the season off 0-3.
Hmm.
And so let's go ahead and just jump right into that, man. Do you think that the season's already over for the Dolphins?
I wouldn't say over because we did see some good things out of this game. I at least from what I saw, um, Tua was getting Tyreek the ball a lot more often, just like Tyreek wants. He was able to show that during this game. He did pretty well. He had a couple of big plays. Of course, he had the touchdown. Uh, I believe he finished with less than 100 though, but it's weird. It's like the plays that he did make some plays. There were big plays, big moments. But I wouldn't necessarily say the season was over. They put up a okay fight for a little bit against the Bills. Um, of course, that's my number one contender for the Super Bowl this year. So if they can do that and show signs of of life, Tua just needs to cross some T's, dot some I's. He can get something going, you know. But we'll see. Tua's pass really doesn't show that he'll really get much going. But I believe they have made it to the playoffs before with him. Maybe once, twice.
Yeah, so Mike McDaniel's been to the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs two out of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Um, but one of those seasons, Tua did not play in the playoffs. He was out due to concussion, so they get bounced in the first round. The second time that they went to the playoffs, Tua was available, and that was the one that they played the Chiefs in extremely cold weather, and we obviously know how that went down. They lost that game with the weather definitely playing a factor, as that team is pretty much winless in any sort of weather that
I think
signifies that it's wintertime.
I think it's anything below 38 degrees or something like that. There's a specific stat that goes back and relates to that.
Yeah, I think since Tua's been the starter, if I'm not mistaken, they're like 0-16 in games that are 40 degrees or less.
Mm.
Yeah, so it definitely doesn't look bright for them starting off 0-3.
But like I said,
I
it's not a season ender. Do you disagree? Is that what's going to come out of your mouth right now?
I want to I'm so mad. Like
How mad, Stevie? How mad?
I'm like really. Dude, I'm telling you, bro. Like, I'm sitting there on the couch with my resting bitch face just because I've told you this many, many times before is that when Tua is on primetime television, with the world watching, he always folds. He has not been good since college. College was the only time that he stood out bright in the bright lights. Beyond that, he has been a shell of himself in the NFL. And he just makes boneheaded decisions. I mean, granted, he wasn't all to blame for this particular loss right here. Obviously, Zach Sealer, falling on the punter. Like, bro, you got to be smarter than that, man.
Yeah.
Bro, you're a 7-year vet. You have captain written all over your fucking jersey. You are a huge, humongous human being. And not only do you decide to take flight, brother, you have no body control. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like at bro, as big as he is, I mean, it's the
straight
moment you're in
ragdoll.
the air, you have no way to control your body coming down. Why in the hell would you even try to block that punt? Like that's the thing that just drives me nuts, man, because it's always something with this freaking team. It never fails. Whether it's Jalen Phillips tearing his Achilles, whether it's Bradley Chubb going down with the ACL, now it's freaking, or it's Tua going out with the concussion, Tyreek with the knee injury, Jalen Waddle with the concussion. It's like everywhere you turn, this team just always gets plagued with
Dude,
something, with something.
they're
And
like on their fourth string DB.
it just it never yeah, I mean, yeah, you got cornerbacks getting injured, going down for the season before the season even starts. And it's like, dude, the black cat's in the building and it's been sitting there for fucking 30 years since Dan Marino left, and it has not there's nothing good about this football team right now. They look like they don't want to be there, and then the commentators, I know that you talked about it earlier. The commentators were talking about, oh, well, they came to play and they came to put up a good fight. No, no, they fucking didn't. No, you fucking didn't. Since Tua's been there, you have not beat Josh Allen. So that's your fucking job. Go fucking beat Josh Allen. And going 22 for 34 with 146 yards isn't going to fucking do it. When every fucking your average yards per attempt is 4.3 yards. That's not going to fucking do it. That's not going to do anything in the NFL. That's one of the lowest in the NFL. You're throwing the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage the majority of the time because you have all these stupid screen passes set up. And guess what? You're not fooling nobody. You did in the beginning, Mike McDaniels, right? You fooled everybody in the beginning because no one was expecting you to run all these motions, all this other crap. Like, but people have figured you out, bro. Now you look like a deer in the headlights. And that was the other thing, right? So you have him talking at the podium, making these dumbass remarks. What did he say? In order to win the game, you need to not lose the game. That's how you win the game. Well, he's been talking like that since he first got hired on as the head coach. But the reason why no one really cared is because they were winning games. Well, guess what, brother? Now you're not winning games. So now all your stupid remarks stand out even worse. You look even dumber. I'm sorry, bro. Like that right there just drives me nuts. And as much as it's going to pain me to say this, no, I don't think that their season is completely over. As much as I
Okay.
want to sit here and tell you that right now their season is over, ironically, after an 0, there's only been 4 teams ever in the NFL to make the playoffs on an 0-3 start. This team is way too talented for them to not make the playoffs. Way
Yep.
too talented. So I'm going to give them just one more game, which is against the Jets next week,
Yep.
right? Which most likely Justin Fields will be back then. If they played him this weekend, it'd be a little bit different. It'd be almost like an automatic win, but they should have Justin Fields back by next weekend after he comes out of concussion protocol. Let's see how they do then. If they do not win that game, and I say that because it's a divisional rival. So those are always competitive games, same as the Bills, right? But if you do not win against the Jets and you go 0-4, you're done. And at that point, that kind of goes into my next question that I want to kind of ask for you, maybe get your opinion, but I'm going to give you mine first, is what happens next? Right? And for me, at that point, if you start 0-4, you have to unload. You're shut the whole thing down, shut operations down, start trading away your players. Um, maybe throw in Quinn Ewers, see what you got there. Maybe you got something, maybe you don't. See if he's even worth a damn. If he don't look good either, you got to start rebuilding from top down. And it starts with Tua. Tua is not the answer. He ain't ever gonna be the answer. You're gonna have to, lick your wounds and deal with it. Eat his salary, trade him away, do something. I don't even know if anybody would want him, to be quite honest with you. I don't think anyone's that desperate for a quarterback, especially a
Maybe
left-handed
the
one at that.
Browns.
Maybe. Maybe they trade for Shador. Yeah, right.
They trade for Saunders.
Or they go for Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel's left-handed. But again,
Who knows?
you have to realize that they'd have to take on Tua's salary, and they're already eating Deshaun's.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So they can't. They're not
Yeah.
going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to do
Yeah.
that. But again, Tua's
He'll
not
be
the
a
answer.
Patriot.
They'll write him out for the season. I mean, they're not going to be able to trade him, this year, but maybe next year they might be able to trade him with whatever's left on his contract, and they just have to hope that somebody else is quarterback needy and they're willing and desperate to take Tua. Because
Yeah.
again, he's not the answer, man. So I mean, what do you think they should do next?
I agree with you, just not to such an extreme extent. I do believe that they didn't need to lock it down. I think what's going to happen. I believe what's going to happen is Mike is going to start getting pressure from the top. Absolutely, 1,000%. Pressure is on, and we're gonna start seeing a lot of media about it. We're gonna start seeing a lot of media in the practices. I believe we're gonna start seeing some interviews after practices. What's going on? What's changing? What are the plans? 0-4. You have an extended week this week, technically, because you just played on a Thursday. So you
Right.
have an extra 2-3 days, above everybody. What are you going to do with those days? These next 3 days, I think, are be the most crucial days for the Dolphins this season. Whatever they decide on these next 3 days going into next week is going to change, make or break the season, I believe. So, but all I think right now, I believe all they're going to do is just double down on Mike, put the pressure on him. He's going to put the pressure on Tua. We might see Ewers, but we might not, because yes, they do play the Jets. It's a winnable game. I believe they play the Ravens after that.
No, so their next
that might go.
the next 3-game skid for them is going to be the Jets, the Panthers, and the Chargers.
So okay, there you go. The Panthers is the winnable game.
Panthers is going to be a winnable game. The Jets should be a winnable game. But again, it's a divisional opponent. They play each other twice a year. They know each other very well. So it's usually a competitive match. But again, that's why I feel like it's another litmus test for Mike McDaniels, right? Are you going to be able to go out against a divisional opponent who you should win against? Are you going to go out and do it? Because if you don't, well, then the season's a wrap. But look at what Tua came out and said. Hey, I can't chunk the ball 50 yards, so I'm just going to throw it up, and you're going to have to just find it. Like, what kind of shit is that?
He did that today with Tyreek Hill. He
Yeah,
had him
he
wide
literally
open down the hill, beating him. And Tyreek, I'm sure Tyreek could have had like another 10 yards. If that ball would have carried another 10 yards where Tyreek wanted it, dude. But he threw maybe 45 yards, 50 yards, which sounds like a lot. But nowadays, you got these NFL players. I just watched a video of Mike Vick throwing like 75 yards to Deshaun Jackson, like at least 3 times in the season. Like, come on now, bro. Like,
but you have
taller,
you have a lot of quarterbacks, man, that have arms. I mean, Josh Allen has an arm.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson has an arm.
I'm about to say Lamar for not being
Patrick Mahomes has an arm. All these quarterbacks have an arm, and that's the thing about Quinn. Quinn can sling the shit out of that football. He can throw it deep. His issue was that he kept overthrowing his receivers when he had Isaiah Bond at Texas. It's kind of if you're going to hit Tyreek Hill on a vertical route straight down the sideline and throw it 60, and you can throw it 60 yards, you're going to have a shot.
The cheetah's going to chase, baby.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of hard to overthrow him. And if you overthrow him, well, then shit, hats off to you, brother. Because that just means you got one hell of an arm. You know what I mean? But even still.
But let me ask you this real quick before we get too far off. Do you blame Tua for that interception?
Yes.
Yeah. How so?
Well, I give it a 50-50 blame, right? Because number one, it's a terrible play call. It's a terrible play call. And
You
but
think
this is
so? What
typical.
was it? 35.
This
Go over the play.
this is typical Mike McDaniel. Okay. Typical Mike McDaniel that every single one of his plays always has like an end to the route. It never has an advancement to the route. So everyone's always running across the field and then they come to a stop and a halt, right? Mike McDaniel's offense is set up for zone defense, right? And so everything's based on timing. That's literally what it's based on. If you were watching the game, and hats off to the broadcast booth because they did a really good job of showcasing exactly what we're talking about right now, right? So he hit Waddle on a bunch of 3rd and 4s on that final drive. Okay.
Hmm.
Every single one of those times that he hit him with the football, the
He
ball
looked
was
far
out of
right.
Tua's no, the ball was out of Tua's hands before Jalen Waddle's even coming out of his break. Same thing with the touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill hadn't even come out of the break from his route, and the ball's already in the air. So McDaniel's offense is predicated on a lot of timing things where the ball has to come out at a specific time, almost like he has to hike the football and maybe count. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. And then he has to throw it in a specific spot. And if you don't throw it in that specific spot, the chances of you getting picked off is extremely high, which again showcased itself here tonight. If you look at the route, I forget who he was targeting on that particular play. It might have been like Malik Washington or something like that. But
Hmm.
the receiver was running the route. He went left and then came to a stop
It was
and
like
was
a
just
7 yard crow route.
and then just sat there and waited, right? And Tua threw the football. If you watch his eyes, right, he's looking to the right, and that's where Tua comes into blame. You can't sit there and look at your receiver straight to the right because now you can't see what's in front of you. And that was the problem. You got home slice over there just basically camping out, looking at your eyeballs and cuts off the route. That was too easy. That was like an elementary pick. And then you see him on the sideline. He's like, bro, he goes, I saw him the whole way. You can read his lips. He's like, dude, I saw him the whole way. I knew exactly where he was going to go with that football because he was already looking at the receiver. So that just goes to show you right there. Like again, that's where I blame Tua. I blame McDaniels because every single one of his plays is predictable. I blame Tua because it's like, okay, if you know where you're going with the football, you need to try to steer everybody else away. You know what I mean? Make them think that you're going somewhere else than where you're actually throwing. And then last second, cut back. If you look at all the greats, whether it be Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Philip Rivers, all these guys. I mean, even still, you got Matthew Stafford does the same thing, right? He'll start off, he knows he's going to the right, but he starts off and he's immediately looking left, right? He's looking, he's surveying the field. And then last second, he breaks to the right. And as long as he knows that that person's only that wide open, boom, they're flinging it, you know? But they keep their eyes to the left or to the opposite side of where they're going. So that way they can steer the safety to face the other way. So that way when they break off last second and go the opposite way, they don't have enough time to turn around and get back to the football. Tua's not doing that right now.
Actually,
How do
so
you
I
how do
think
you see it?
so. I do think it's kind of 50-50, but I give more credit to the linebacker for making a good play rather than Tua messing up. I think the only part where Tua messed up is he became predictable. Tua did not look at the receiver. Even in the broadcast booth, they mentioned that Tua looked at the outside receiver first, and then right before him making the throw, that's when he checked down to the slot receiver to make the throw. But he looked at the outside receiver first, and the linebacker picked up on that. Probably because in film, he probably saw that when Tua looks outside, he goes inside on the quick routes. So I give that more to the linebacker for recognizing Tua's patterns, and then I
But
blame
nonetheless,
Tua for
it's still in
having
the
that.
same direction.
But then I blame Tua for. But so your argument, it's a different play. If it was a longer play, then yes, he has time to look left, but he can't because naturally he's facing. Wait, no, what was he? He's a left-handed quarterback, so he's already facing left, but he's a shotgun. It's just too quick of a throw, man. It's just too quick of a throw for him to have to look over there and then come back real quick and throw back this way.
But quarterbacks do it all the time. Quarterbacks
no, but
do it
this
all
is
the
like
time.
a 5 yard. This is like a 5-7 yard slant route. Not even a slant. It's a curl route.
So who are you blaming though?
That's like, huh?
Who are you blaming then?
I'm not blaming him. I said the only thing I blame him for is for having that tendency. He got picked up. I give it more to the linebacker for making that read, watching his eyes, thinking every time he looks outside, he goes to the slot on these routes. It's a 5-7 yard stopping. It's a curl route. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a curl route.
Yeah.
Dude, he ain't gonna have time to look left and then come back right to see if that guy's breaking or not. That, like you said, it's timing. That one is specifically timing.
Well, then if that's the case, then fucking call a better play.
Because what was it? I believe it was
put it on
like
Mike
third and
McDaniel,
4?
call a better play. Yeah,
3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5, something like that.
But it's a must-have, bro. It's a must-have drive.
Yeah, something like that. Like I agree with that play. That's a good play. I think that's a good play. A 5 to 7 yard curl. That's the most practiced play, like for quarterback and receiver, like ever. That's like coaches used to say in high school that this is just a long handoff. Like we practice that play even in high school. We practice a 5 to 7 yard curl route religiously, so much. Right. That is the go-to.
But what we also know too, though, is that if they're playing up to you, right? If they're, what is it called, man press, right?
Yeah, if they're pressing man.
Yeah, if they're pressing up against you and you're running that curl route, most likely it's going to get knocked down. There's a high chance it's going to get intercepted if they're not giving you no cushion. And in that particular area, they were not giving them any cushion at all. There's a very, very tight window that they're going to have to throw that ball into. But yet again, that's exactly how Mike McDaniels likes to draw up his shit, where you have to be extremely dialed in and extremely like precise with the positioning that you put that football.
I would rather play that. I would rather make that play against a man defense than a zone defense, because in that play, you give your receiver a chance to make a play on the ball rather than have the defensive back stare your receiver down the entire time he's making that route go. So,
well, and in that particular situation, if you think about it, they were playing zone though.
But you said they're pressed up man.
The DBs were, but that was a middle linebacker that intercepted the ball. He was playing zone.
Yeah,
and he was watching that, and he was watching that curl route. That's how he was able to. My argument. When he hiked the ball, he just had to stand there.
Yeah, he recognized on Tua's pattern and jumped that route. But those routes like that are made for the receivers to beat the defensive back. You're supposed to make them think that you're going to run a different route, and you break real quick and come back, so it gives you that little gap.
But that's also where his eyeballs come into play.
Yeah.
He can't sit there and stare in the same direction that he's going to throw. I get that he's trying to call off.
Either.
You can.
You can't look the opposite way. Not on the play like that. Pull it up. Next.
Maybe you can't look at the exact. Maybe you can't look at the exact opposite.
You have this.
You probably can't look at the exact opposite thing. But you can at least look up the middle of the field. At least look up the middle of the field.
It's tough, man. On a play like that, like I said, it happens too fast. It happens way too fast. Way too fast.
I don't know, man.
Hey, Steve, you know, I probably shouldn't say this. I'm just kidding.
Okay, Ryan Clark.
But that's just the non-player in you, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up.
No, but that's funny.
I'm just sitting here
Okay,
saying
I'm
though,
done.
you can't
But
sit here with a straight face and tell me that you would put all your fucking chips in the bag for Tua.
oh, what the fuck? Where did that come from? No,
Well, I'm just sitting here saying because you're basically trying to make an excuse for Tua.
it's not an excuse. But I'm just saying
Then
he
what do you
didn't.
call it?
It was a good play by the defensive back. I mean, by the linebacker. What? Like people aren't allowed to make good plays?
I'm not saying you're not allowed to make a good fucking play, but that's a
Tom Brady
stupid
got
ass.
intercepted by Malcolm Butler at the goal line for that exact same way, almost that exact same way. Shit happens, bro. Not Tom Brady. Matt Ryan got fucking no.
Oh my god,
Russell Wilson. I'm
Jesus.
butchering that,
Hey,
bro.
bro, I'm sorry.
I'm thinking of the comeback.
That's the non-player in you.
No, that's the non-watching football in me, the non-spectator in me.
Jesus. I was like, Tom Brady, goal line, interception. You motherfuckers talking about
Wrong
Russell
team.
Wilson. Should have ran it with fucking
Russell
beast mode.
Wilson.
Beast mode got you all the way down to the 1 yard line. You fucking throw it in the air. Stupid. I don't care. I'm just sitting here saying, to me, it sounds like you're trying to come up with an excuse, albeit that you're saying that it was a great play. I'm not denying the fact that it was a great play, but that's one of the most simplest fucking reads that a defensive player can make. When the fucking quarterback's eyes are giving it away where he's going with the football, 9 out of 10 times those defensive players are making the play on that ball. Whether it's a deflected pass or an interception, they're going to make that play 9 out of 10 times.
I
But
don't
that's
know. I
why
think those statistics might be off.
But that's why Tua, brother, you get paid the fucking big bucks. You have to be better. Plain and simple. You have to be better. I rest my case. Fucking carry on, bro. I'm already fucking you already done fucking got me hot, dude. I'm telling you, I'm fucking pissed, dude. I'm pissed. That's why I'm not even.
Don't worry, I'm right there.
That's why, like, bro, I was ready to come out with my hat and everything. I was getting excited. Nah, fuck them. They don't deserve for me to fucking wear the hat right now. I don't fucking deserve it, dude.
I'm in the same boat as you, bro. I'm in the same boat as you.
Fucking piss me off. Anyway, moving on, because that's not the only fucking surprise right now. All right. So there's a lot of, I mean, granted, they're 0-3. They started off 0-2. Yeah, in order to get to 0-3, you got to start off 0-2, right? So who's most surprising 0-2 start this season in the NFL?
Most surprising. This is a very, very tough question. I've not stopped thinking about this question. And here's why. I'm stuck between the Bears, the Chiefs, and the Texans.
Okay.
Bears because they got Johnson. Granted, Caleb Williams is who Caleb Williams is, but Johnson is also who Johnson is. So they should have done something by now. At least that's what I expected coming in the offseason. They would have won a game right now. The Chiefs, because who the Chiefs are. You know, we're not used to them starting 0-2. We're used to them always winning. So the fact that they're 0-2, granted, against two of the best teams in the league, possibly top 3, top 5 best teams in the league. We have the defending champion Eagles, and then we have Justin Herbert and the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Great teams, but at the same time, you know, that's what the Chiefs are known for, beating these teams.
Right.
Coming out hot, starting the season off fucking 12-0, and then, you know, losing to some, you know, crazy game, you know? We're not used to seeing this. And then we have the Texans. All the hype that was in the offseason with the defense. Granted, the defense is doing great. The shock of this season is CJ Stroud is tanking, was what it seems like. You know, it looks like he's losing some of the basic fundamentals that I swear he came in with during his rookie season. That one was just probably closer to my heart because that's my team. Ultimately, I guess I'm going to go Chiefs because now that I say it out loud, it just makes more sense. out loud. You know, like I said, great teams, but that's what the Chiefs are known for. They're known for beating those teams, and they're not doing it. So I would say the Chiefs right now, starting 0-2, is the shocker. I think probably the shocker of the community, if you ask me. What are your thoughts? Where are you at with that one?
Well, first, I have to disagree with you on that. And as strange as that might sound, right? The reason why for me I feel like it wasn't as much of a shocker for the Chiefs to start 0-2 is because of their offensive line getting shifted around in the offseason, right? They got rid of Joe Tooney and some other players. But then on top of that, too, um, Rashee Rice wasn't going to be there to start the season. We already knew coming into the season he was going to have to serve that 6-game suspension. So we knew that was gonna be a play a factor right there. But then you also take into account that Travis Kelsey did not look like himself in the Super Bowl the previous year, right? The entire season he didn't look like himself. And so the fact that he decided to stay for one more year is kind of like it really like he doesn't want to be there, man. He's just kind of there maybe to kind of, I don't know, provide a security blanket for Patrick Mahomes. But if you notice that he's not really targeting him that all that much anymore, right? Even last season, he really wasn't targeting him that much. And so again, I just don't. And then also too, you factor in all the close games that they won, right? They were barely sneaking by a lot of these games. Oftentimes there was some weird stuff that was happening. Week one, you had Isaiah Likely the toe on the damn eh, right outside the end zone. You got the block punt against Denver. Like, I mean, there's so many different things that just the questionable PI call with the Bengals, right? They were winning all these games, and everyone kind of felt like the refs were kind of coming into play, but nonetheless, they were squeaking by. At some point, that luck had to have run out. So that's why I say it wasn't too much of a shocker for to see them kind of start 0-2, especially like you said, considering who they played going against the Eagles, the Chargers. They were set out. We kind of saw what they did in the offseason, and we figured that they would kind of take a leap, a step forward compared to what they were last season. But for me, so that's why I disagree with you. But for me, the most shocking 0-2 start was the Texans. And the reason why is because we expected them to win the division easy. Easy. I mean, it was already a foregone conclusion. They wrote everyone's obituary in the offseason that Houston's got the AFC South
Yep.
locked up. You know what I mean? You had quarterback questions with the Colts with Anthony Richardson. You got a rookie quarterback with the Titans, not to mention a second-year head coach. And then you have a rookie head coach with the Jags with Liam Cohen, albeit that they picked up Travis Hunter in the draft. You still have question marks with Trevor Lawrence because he hasn't been playing up to par as well ever since that one year that he made it to the playoffs, but then ends up giving up a 21, 27-point lead to the Chargers. Right? So there's question marks around him. So again, everyone had the Texans winning the division. And you start off 0-2, not looking too good. And then who do they play next? They play the Jags next, don't they?
Which is going to be Jaguars next.
Which is going to be a divisional opponent, right? So again, they play each other twice a year. It's going to be a competitive game. And now you don't have that luxury to not mess up. Or you don't have that luxury to mess up, right? Now you have to play like to the T. Everything's got to go your way. But man, to your point earlier, you talked about CJ Stroud, and you swore he'd come into the league with all these basic fundamentals. And I agree with you. He did. He looked great. But something just seems off in Houston right now. Something's not going right. For me, I think it speaks more to DeMeco more than it does CJ Stroud because, man, if you look at the whole game against against the Buccaneers Monday night, that 2-minute drill that they ran, DeMeco got outclassed in pure situational football, right? The Bucs let Nick Chubb go through that line. That was on purpose with purpose. He never got touched.
Miko's a defensive coach.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're the head
This is
coach
the offensive
regardless.
coordinator.
I'm telling you right now. I'm not talking about from an offensive perspective. I'm talking about from an overall game management perspective, right? He got outclassed on Monday night against Todd Bowles. There's about 2 minutes and 25 seconds left to go, right? And they're marching down the field and they're on a great drive, right? Doesn't seem like the defense can stop them. The Bucks are struggling to stop the Texans. Next thing you know, they're down the field. They're in the red zone already. Or just right before, what are they, like the 25-yard line, 21-yard line, something like that. And the next thing you know, Nick Chubb breaks off up the gut and never gets touched and goes all the way straight into the end zone. At that point, they should have reckoned, the players alone themselves should have recognized that too. But at the same time, as the head coach, right? That's your job to make sure that your team is pacing themselves out, knowing them damn well that you have the 2-minute warning. They have all 3 of their timeouts, right? And with me going into the red zone, the pressure's on them. Pressure's not on me, pressure's on them. See, that's the reverse thinking there. But nonetheless, they let them slip through, they score. Well, then they give Baker Mayfield, with 2:05 left, you have the 2-minute warning, 3 timeouts, and the length of the football field to drive down. So basically, you give Baker Mayfield 4 timeouts. And throughout that whole process, as they're marching down the field, they forced DeMeco Ryans to call timeout instead of them. And that's what I'm saying. The pressure should have been on the Bucks when the Texans were driving down the field. The pressure should have been on the Bucks to stop it, to stop the clock. But they didn't. They never shook. They never wavered. And that's why I say he got outclassed and outcoached, because normally it's the team that doesn't have the lead, that's marching down the field, that's blowing through their timeouts to make sure that they have enough time on the clock so that way they can get the next playoff. In this particular case, it was ass backwards. And it was DeMeco calling timeout, because he was like freaking out, wondering what the hell I can do. And then you just talked about it yourself, right? He's a defensive coach. And you let that happen. So anyways, that's the most shocking to me. In terms of who starts the 0-2, man. Like it's for me, it was the Texans all day long. And the Chiefs is a shocking start. Again, I'm not, but for me, it's more shocking for the Texans to start 0-2 this season than anything else.
Look who they lost to, though. The Bucks and the Chargers, both great teams as well. Both playoff teams. Baker Mayfield, what does he have, like 22, something like fourth quarter drives, wins, like most since he's been in the league, something like that.
Who are you talking about?
Stats. Baker Mayfield, doesn't he have like the most fourth quarter comebacks since he's been in the league or been at Tampa Bay?
Well, I'm not too sure about that, but who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Who they face? Because you said that are you saying that the Texans faced the Chargers? Because the Texans didn't face the Chargers. The Chiefs did.
The Chiefs. Oh, my fault. My fault. Yeah. The Rams.
Yeah, they play. Which again, the Rams is a great team too. They got a really good defense.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, Rams, Chargers, LA. That's what I was thinking in my head. I forget there's 2 teams. The Rams. Sound good. Great team, playoff team. Man, you got me. You got me hot with Miko, because I do think Miko is the blame, a lot of the blame, but for different reasons.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Now we're talking about my team. My team's.
All right. Well, before we get into that, let's go to break real quick. Let's go to break. Let's take 5. Take 5. Okay. Take 5. Take 5.